Admiral Thexra stood before the massive viewing screen in his command ship. The blue planet called Earth filled the display, looking small and peaceful from this distance. He had been watching this world for 50 years now, and still found the creatures living on it fascinating in their primitive ways. Admiral, his science officer Nulak approached with a data pad in his three-fingered hands. The latest reports from our spy probes are ready for your review. Thexra took the device and scrolled through the information. The humans were still fighting each other, just as they had been doing for the past century of observation. Small, wars in different regions, always using their crude weapons that shot metal pieces at each other. Sometimes they used their primitive nuclear bombs, but even those were laughably weak compared to Velkari technology. Look at this. Thexra pointed to a section of the report. They launched another one of their simple rockets into space. It took them 3 tries just to get it off their planet without exploding, and they celebrate this as a great achievement. Nulak made the clicking sound that was equivalent to laughter among his species. Their technology advances so slowly, Admiral. In the 100 years we have watched them, they have barely improved their weapons or space travel capabilities. They still use chemical fuel for their rockets and gunpowder for their weapons. The Admiral walked to another screen showing human cities. Millions of the creatures lived packed together in tall buildings made of metal and glass. Their vehicles moved on the ground using wheels, burning fossil fuels that polluted their own atmosphere. From space, Earth looked like it was covered in a brown haze from all the pollution these humans created. Tell me about their military again, Thexra commanded. Nulak activated a holographic display showing human soldiers. They wear basic body, armor, and carry weapons that fire small metal projectiles. Their aircraft are powered by jet engines, very primitive compared to our plasma drives. Their largest weapons are nuclear missiles, but our shields can easily stop anything they might launch at us. The display changed to show human naval forces. Ships floating on water, still dependent on their planet's oceans for transportation. Their space presence was almost nothing. A few small stations orbiting their world, and some basic satellites for communication. Their military strategy is also predictable, Nulak continued. We have intercepted thousands of their communication signals over the decades. They train for conventional warfare, armies fighting armies, ships fighting ships. They have no concept of 3-dimensional space combat or energy-based weapons. Thexra nodded approvingly. The Velkari Empire had been expanding across the galaxy for thousands of years. They had conquered hundreds of worlds, and Earth would be no different. In fact, it would probably be easier than most. What about their governments? The Admiral asked. Completely divided, Nulak reported with satisfaction. Over 200 separate nations constantly arguing and competing with each other. They cannot even agree on how to handle their planet's climate problems. When we arrive, they will be unable to coordinate any unified defense. The science officer pulled up recordings of human leaders giving speeches. They spend more time fighting each other than preparing for external threats. Some of their nations are allies, but these relationships change frequently. They have no single world government or combined military command. Thexra watched footage of human wars. Soldiers running across battlefields, tanks rolling through destroyed cities, aircraft dropping bombs on targets below. Everything looked so slow and clumsy compared to Velkari warfare. Their weapons required direct line of sight to hit targets. Their vehicles were bound to the ground or needed runways to take off. Their communications could be easily intercepted and jammed. Have they shown any signs that they know we are watching them? Thexra asked. None, Admiral. Our observation. Probes are completely invisible to their primitive sensors. They have detected some unusual objects in their sky occasionally, but their governments dismiss these reports as weather phenomena or hallucinations. They have no idea that an advanced civilization has been studying them. The Admiral felt confident about the coming invasion. The Velkari fleet consisted of 50,000 ships, each one capable of destroying entire human cities with a single blast. Their shields could stop any weapon the humans might use. Their plasma cannons could cut through the strongest human-made materials like they were paper. Show me the invasion plan again, Thexra ordered. A 3-dimensional map of Earth appeared in the air between them. Red markers indicated major human cities and military bases. Blue lines showed the planned approach routes for Velkari forces. Phase 1, Nulak explained. We will position our fleet around their planet and broadcast surrender demands in their various languages. Based on our analysis of human psychology, most of their governments will surrender immediately when they see the size of our fleet. And if they refuse? Thexera asked, though he already knew the answer. Phase 2 involves targeted strikes against their military installations. Our computers have identified every human airbase, naval port, and missile facility. We can destroy their entire military capacity within 1 hour, using only 10% of our fleet's firepower. The display showed simulations of Velkari ships attacking human targets. Plasma beams turned military bases into smoking craters. Human aircraft fell from the sky like burning leaves. Naval ships sank beneath the waves, their crews never knowing what hit them. Phase 3 is pacification of the civilian population, Nulak continued. We will broadcast instructions for human surrender and cooperation. Those who comply will be relocated to designated zones. Those who resist will be eliminated. Thexera studied the plan carefully. Everything seemed perfectly calculated. The humans had no chance against Velkari technology and organization. Their divided governments would collapse quickly. Their primitive weapons were useless against Velkari shields. Their slow communication systems meant they could not coordinate any effective resistance. What about their nuclear weapons? The Admiral asked. Even primitive nuclear bombs could cause damage to our forces if used properly. We have located every nuclear weapon on their planet, Nulak assured him. Our first strike will target all missile silos, submarines, and air bases where these weapons are stored. The humans will not have time to launch them before we destroy their delivery systems. The science officer showed recordings of human nuclear tests. The explosions looked impressive by human standards, but Velkari's shields could absorb far more energy without any damage. Even if the humans managed to detonate nuclear weapons against the invasion fleet, it would only create pretty light shows in space. Their nuclear technology is also very old, Nulak added. Most of their warheads use designs that are decades old. They have not improved their nuclear weapons significantly in 50 years, while our defensive systems have advanced far beyond what would be needed to stop such primitive attacks. Thexera walked to another viewing screen showing the Velkari invasion fleet. Thousands of ships floated in perfect formation in the darkness between stars. Each vessel was larger than the biggest human cities. Their hulls were made from materials that could withstand the heat of stars. Their weapons could destroy mountains with single shots. How long until we reach Earth? The Admiral asked. 18 more years at current speed, Nulak replied. We could arrive sooner if we used maximum velocity, but there is no need to rush. The humans will still be using the same primitive technology when we get there. If anything, watching them longer will give us even more advantages. Continue monitoring their transmissions, Thexera ordered. I want to know about any changes in their military capabilities, any new weapons they develop, any attempts to explore space beyond their immediate orbit. Of course, Admiral, though based on their current rate of progress, they might develop slightly better computers or marginally more efficient rockets, but nothing that would pose any threat to our forces. Thexera looked at Earth one more time before leaving the command center. The small blue world continued its slow rotation, unaware that its fate had already been decided. In less than 20 years, it would belong to the Velkari Empire. The humans would either serve as workers in the new order or be eliminated if they proved too troublesome. The Admiral felt a sense of satisfaction as he walked through the corridors of his ship. This would be one of the easiest conquests in Velkari history. No advanced weapons to worry about. No unified government to negotiate with. No space fleet to fight against. Just a divided planet full of primitive creatures using chemical weapons and metal projectiles. As he entered his private quarters, Thexera activated his personal computer and began writing his preliminary report to the Velkari High Command. He described Earth as a low-risk target with valuable resources and a large population suitable for labor. The invasion would require minimal forces and could be completed within days of arrival. The report concluded with his confident assessment. The humans of Earth represent no significant military threat to Velkari forces. Their technology is centuries. Behind ours, their governments are fragmented and their weapons are primitive. I estimate complete conquest within 72 hours of our arrival in their system. Thexra sent the report and prepared for. Major Kang Daiho stared at the computer screen in disbelief. The data he was looking at should not exist. For 3 months he had been analyzing unusual signals detected by military satellites, and every piece of evidence pointed to the same impossible conclusion: someone was watching Earth from space. This cannot be right, he muttered, running the analysis program for the 5th time that day. The results never changed. Unknown objects were moving through the solar system, staying just outside the range of human detection equipment. They appeared briefly on long-range sensors before disappearing again, like ghosts in the darkness. Kang had spent 15 years in the Korean military, working with satellite surveillance and space monitoring systems. He knew the difference between natural phenomena and artificial objects. These signals showed clear signs of intelligence. They moved in patterns, avoided detection, and seemed to be studying Earth from multiple angles. He printed out the data and walked to the office of his commanding officer, Colonel Park. The older man looked up from his paperwork with annoyance. "What is it now, Major? More of your theories about alien visitors?" "Sir, I have more evidence. These objects are definitely artificial, and they have been watching us for years. Look at these movement patterns." Kang spread the papers across the colonel's desk. Colonel Park glanced at the data without interest. "Major, we have been through this before. These signals are probably just reflections from old satellites or space debris. The government has already reviewed your reports and found no credible threat. But sir, if we are being observed by an unknown intelligence, we need to prepare defenses. We need to warn other nations." "Enough!" Colonel Park slammed his hand on the desk. "I will not have my officers spreading panic about imaginary aliens. You are a good analyst, Kang, but you are letting your imagination run wild. Drop this investigation, immediately. That is an order." Kang left the office feeling frustrated and worried. If the government would not listen, he would have to find another way to protect humanity. That evening, he made a decision that would change the course of human history. He contacted 2 people he trusted completely: Dr. Park Soo-min, a physicist working at the university, and Cho Hyun-woo, an engineer who designed satellite systems for the space agency. Both were brilliant scientists who shared his concerns about humanity's future. They met at a small restaurant in Seoul, far from any government buildings or military installations. Kang showed them the evidence he had gathered, the unusual signals, the pattern movements, the clear signs of observation from space. "If this is real," Dr. Park said quietly, "then we are completely defenseless. Our most advanced weapons could not stop an invasion from space." "Not necessarily," Cho replied, studying the data more carefully. "We may not be able to match their technology, but we can prepare surprises they would not expect." Over the following weeks, the 3 men developed what they called the Prometheus Protocol, a secret plan to prepare Earth for the threat that no one else believed existed. They could not work through official channels, so they would have to build humanity's defense in complete secrecy. Dr. Park began researching advanced physics concepts that were considered too dangerous or impractical for normal development. She focused on quantum mechanics, antimatter research, and theoretical weapons that could work in space. Her university position gave her access to laboratories and equipment that she used for unauthorized experiments after hours. Cho started designing new types of satellites and communication systems that could coordinate a global defense network. He created plans for manufacturing facilities that could build weapons and defensive systems automatically, without human supervision. His engineering background helped him identify ways to hide these facilities from aerial or satellite observation. Major Kang used his military connections to identify other people who might help with the project. He found soldiers, scientists, and engineers in different countries who had noticed unusual phenomena or shared concerns about humanity's defenselessness in space. Slowly, quietly, they began building a network of people working toward the same goal. The project grew over the years, but always in secret. They disguised their activities as normal research projects, commercial developments, or military exercises. To outside observers, it looked like routine technological advancement. In reality, they were preparing for war with an enemy that most people did not believe existed. Dr. Park made breakthrough discoveries in quantum physics that allowed her to develop new types of weapons. She learned how to create controlled antimatter reactions that could destroy targets at the atomic level. She discovered ways to manipulate gravity and space-time that could protect Earth from energy-based attacks. Her most important discovery was quantum processing, computers that could think millions of times faster than traditional electronics. These quantum systems could analyze enemy technology instantly and develop countermeasures in real time. They could coordinate complex battles across entire solar systems without human input. "Look at this," she told her colleagues during one of their secret meetings. "If we can build enough quantum processors, we can create a defense network that thinks faster than any enemy could react. They might have better individual weapons, but we could have better coordination and faster responses." Cho developed manufacturing systems that could build weapons and defensive equipment automatically. These facilities looked like normal factories from the outside, but they contained hidden production lines that could create advanced military technology in large quantities very quickly. "The key is redundancy," he explained. "We need thousands of these facilities hidden around the world. If an enemy destroys some of them, others can increase production to compensate. We also need them to communicate with each other so they can share designs and coordinate manufacturing." Major Kang worked on the strategic aspects of defense. He studied military history and tactics, trying to understand how weaker forces could defeat stronger enemies. He realized that humanity's best advantage would be unpredictability, doing things that no rational opponent would expect. Most advanced civilizations probably fight wars in predictable ways, he reasoned. They use their superior technology in conventional battles. But humans are not conventional. We fight dirty when we have to. We use every available weapon, even if it damages ourselves. We never surrender, even when defeat seems certain. As the years passed, their secret network grew larger. Scientists in America developed new types of explosives based on Dr. Park's quantum research. Engineers in Europe built hidden weapon factories using Cho's designs. Military officers in Asia trained soldiers for space combat using Major Kang's tactical plans. They called their strategy the overkill doctrine. If Earth was ever attacked by a superior enemy, humanity would not try to fight a fair battle. Instead, they would use every weapon available simultaneously, overwhelming the enemy. With sheer volume and unpredictability, we cannot match their individual technologies, Dr. Park explained to a gathering of project leaders. But we can create so many different types of weapons that they cannot defend against all of them at once. While they are trying to stop our missiles, our energy weapons will hit them. While they are blocking our energy weapons, our nanomachine swarms will disable their systems. The hidden facilities began producing stockpiles of weapons that did not officially exist. Antimatter bombs were stored in underground bunkers disguised as storage warehouses. Gravity manipulation devices were hidden inside fake cell phone towers. Quantum computers were installed in basements of ordinary office buildings. To the rest of the world, technological progress seemed normal. Computers got faster, communications improved, manufacturing became more efficient. What people did not realize was that much of this advancement was driven by the secret preparation for interstellar war. Cho's automated factories began producing weapons that could adapt to different threats, self-replicating machines that could build copies of themselves, artificial intelligence systems that could learn from battle experience and improve their tactics, weapons that could modify their own design based on enemy defenses. "We are creating an arsenal that can evolve," he told his colleagues. "Even if the enemy studies our weapons and develops countermeasures, our systems will automatically create new versions that can bypass their defenses." As decades passed, the secret project became a hidden part of human civilization. Children grew up in cities that were secretly weapons platforms. Workers went to jobs in factories that could instantly convert to military production. Students studied in schools built over underground command centers. The project members grew older, but new people joined to replace them. Dr. Park trained younger physicists who continued her research. Cho mentored engineers who improved his designs. Major Kang recruited military officers who expanded the tactical planning. By 2190, Earth looked the same to casual observation, but it had been transformed into the most heavily armed planet in the galaxy. Every major city contained hidden weapon systems. Every communication network included quantum processors ready for warfare. Every manufacturing facility could switch to military production within hours. The most impressive achievement was the global coordination system, quantum computers around the world. Lieutenant Kim Jae-wook was drinking his morning coffee when every alarm in Earth Defense Command started screaming at once. He nearly dropped his cup as red warning lights flooded the control room with urgent flashing. Around him, dozens of operators jumped to their stations, checking displays and running system diagnostics. "What is happening?" shouted Commander Rowe from across the room. "Is this a drill?" "No, sir," replied Sergeant Bay from the main sensor station. "We have massive contacts appearing at the edge of the solar system, thousands of them moving in formation toward Earth." Kim set down his coffee and rushed to his monitoring station. His screen showed the outer solar system dotted with red markers, each one representing an object larger than any human spacecraft ever built. The computer was struggling to count them all as more appeared every second. "How many?" Commander Rowe demanded. "At least 40,000, sir," Kim reported, his voice tight with disbelief. "Possibly 50,000. They are all artificial objects, definitely not natural phenomena. Size estimates range from 1 kilometer to 10 kilometers in length." The command center fell silent except for the humming of computers and the soft beeping of communication systems. Everyone understood what they were looking at. This was the moment that Major Kang and his colleagues had predicted decades ago. The Watchers were finally revealing themselves. "Send alert signals to all global defense networks," Commander Rowe ordered. "Wake up the Prometheus protocol systems. Get me direct communication links to military commands in America, Europe, Russia, and China." Kim's fingers flew across his keyboard, activating systems that had been hidden for over a century. Around the world, quantum computers began powering up in basements and underground bunkers. Fake cell phone towers started extending, hidden weapon arrays. Ordinary-looking buildings revealed sophisticated sensor equipment. "Sir," called out Dr. Yoon from the analysis station, "the objects are slowing down as they approach the outer planets. They are maintaining formation and appear to be scanning our system." "Scanning for what?" Commander Rowe asked. "Unknown, but their energy emissions are consistent with advanced sensor technology. They are probably cataloging our defensive capabilities in major population centers." Kim watched his screen as the alien fleet spread out into a massive three-dimensional formation. The ships positioned themselves at strategic points around Earth's orbital path, creating what looked like a vast net designed to prevent any escape from the planet. "They are not trying to hide anymore," he observed. "This is either a show of force or preparation for immediate attack." Suddenly, Kim's communication console activated with an incoming transmission from the alien fleet. The signal was powerful enough to override every communication system on Earth simultaneously. Television broadcasts stopped mid-sentence. Radio stations went silent. Internet connections paused as the alien message pushed through every available channel. "Citizens of the world Earth," the message began in perfect English, though with an odd mechanical accent. "This is Admiral Thexra of the Velkari Dominion Fleet. We have been observing your species for 100 years. Your time of independence is now ended." Kim quickly activated recording systems to capture every word of the transmission. Around him, other operators were monitoring the signal's technical properties and trying to trace its origin point. "Your primitive civilization will now submit to Velkari authority," the alien admiral continued. "We have studied your military capabilities and found them inadequate for resistance. Your weapons cannot penetrate our defensive systems. Your governments are too divided to coordinate effective opposition." The transmission paused, and Kim could imagine alien computers analyzing Earth's response. Communication networks around the planet were probably flooded with panicked messages from government leaders, military commanders, and ordinary citizens who were hearing this broadcast. "We offer you this single opportunity for peaceful surrender," Admiral Thexra resumed. "Lay down your weapons, cease all military activities, and prepare to receive Velkari occupation forces. Any attempt at resistance will result in the complete destruction of your cities and the elimination of your political leadership. Kim looked at Commander Rowe, who was listening to the broadcast with a calm expression that surprised everyone in the room. The commander had been briefed on the Prometheus protocol and knew what humanity was actually capable of, but his composure was still impressive under these circumstances. "You have one of your hours to respond," the alien admiral concluded. "At the end of this time period, Velkari forces will begin pacification operations. We recommend that you use this time to prepare your surrender, rather than contemplating futile resistance. This transmission is now concluded." The communication channels returned to normal, but the silence in Earth Defense Command lasted several more seconds. Finally, Commander Rowe stood up and addressed the room. "Contact the Global Defense Council immediately. Tell them we have confirmed alien contact and are implementing Prometheus Protocol Authorization Level 1. All hidden systems are now active for full deployment." Kim began typing commands to establish secure communication links with defense networks around the world. His screen showed status reports from facilities that most governments did not know existed. Underground weapons factories, hidden missile bases, disguised orbital platforms. "Sir," Dr. Yoon called out from her analysis station, "should we inform the public about our actual defensive capabilities?" "Not yet," Commander Rowe replied. "Let the aliens maintain their assumptions about human weakness. The longer they underestimate us, the more effective our response will be." Kim's communication system chimed with incoming messages from defense installations worldwide. American quantum computing facilities reported full activation. European manufacturing centers confirmed weapon production at maximum capacity. Asian satellite networks acknowledged ready status for orbital operations. "Commander," Kim said, reading from his screen, "all Prometheus protocol systems are online and responding. We have full coordination capability with hidden installations on every continent. Weapon systems are armed and targeting solutions are being calculated." "What about our space-based assets?" Commander Rowe asked. 17 fake commercial satellites have revealed their true nature as weapons platforms, Dr. Yoon reported. "The International Space Station has activated its hidden defense systems. Our moon-based facilities are powering up their long-range strike capabilities." Kim stared at his screen in amazement. Even though he had been briefed on the Prometheus protocol, seeing the full scope of humanity's hidden preparations was overwhelming. Earth had not just prepared for this day. It had transformed itself into a massive trap waiting to be sprung. "Sir, we are receiving a priority message from the Global Defense Council," Kim announced. "They are asking for our assessment of the alien fleet's capabilities and our recommended response strategy." Commander Rowe walked over to Kim's station and looked at the tactical display showing the alien fleet's positions. The Velkari ships were still maintaining their formation at the edge of the solar system, probably expecting terrified surrender messages from Earth's governments. "Tell the Council that the alien fleet appears to be using conventional three-dimensional tactics," Commander Rowe said. "Their ships are large and heavily armed, but they are positioned for intimidation rather than actual combat efficiency. They seem confident that we cannot threaten them from this distance." "What should we tell them about our response recommendations?" Kim asked. Commander Rowe smiled for the first time that day. "Tell them that Lieutenant Kim will be handling our official reply to the alien surrender demand." Kim felt his stomach drop. "Sir, you want me to respond to them?" "You are our communications specialist, and this is the most important communication in human history. Besides, I think our response should come from someone who represents the next generation of humanity, rather than an old commander like me." Kim looked around the control room at his colleagues, all of whom were nodding encouragingly. Dr. Yoon gave him a thumbs up from her station. Sergeant Bay mouthed the words, "You can do this," from across the room. "What should I tell them, sir?" Kim asked. "Whatever you think represents humanity's true response to their ultimatum," Commander Rowe replied. "But remember that our goal is to maintain the element of surprise for as long as possible. The aliens should continue believing that we are primitive and defenseless, right up until the moment we prove them wrong." Kim took a deep breath and activated the global communication system. His message would be broadcast not just to the alien fleet, but to every human on Earth who was listening. This would be humanity's first official response to contact with an alien civilization. He thought about everything his species had accomplished in secret over the past century. The hidden weapons, the quantum computers, the automated defense, systems that could think faster than any alien technology. All of that preparation had led to this moment. Admiral Thexra of the Velkari Dominion Fleet, Kim began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. This is Lieutenant Kim Jae-wook of Earth Defense Command, responding on behalf of the human species. He paused, looking at Commander Rowe, who nodded encouragingly. Thank you for finally revealing yourselves after a century of watching us from the shadows. We have been aware. Captain Lee Min-ho watched the countdown timer on his screen reach exactly 14 minutes and 34 seconds past 2 in the afternoon. That was the moment when Admiral Thexra made the decision that would doom his entire fleet. All Velkari vessels begin approach to the inner system, came the alien admiral's voice over the intercepted communications. Prepare to demonstrate our superiority to these primitive humans. Target their major cities for the first wave of attacks. Lee activated his console and spoke into his headset. This is Earth Defense Actual. Prometheus Protocol is now fully active. All stations report ready status. Around the world, responses came back in dozens of languages as hidden defense installations confirmed their battle readiness. American deep space sensors tracked the alien fleet's movement. European quantum computers calculated optimal targeting solutions. Asian manufacturing facilities increased weapon production to maximum speed. Alien fleet is entering the outer defense perimeter, reported Dr. Yoon from her analysis station. Distance to Earth 4 billion kilometers and closing. Estimated arrival time at Earth orbit, 18 minutes at current speed. Lee looked at the massive three-dimensional display, showing the solar system. Red dots representing alien ships were moving inward like a slow-motion avalanche, completely unaware that they were flying into the most sophisticated trap in galactic history. Activate the scanning protocol, Lee ordered. I want complete technical analysis of every alien vessel before they get within weapons range. Hidden sensors throughout the solar system turned their attention to the approaching fleet. Quantum computers began analyzing the alien ship's energy emissions, hull composition, shield frequencies, and weapon configurations. Within seconds, humanity knew more about Velkari technology than the aliens suspected was possible. Their shields operate on rotating frequency modulation, Dr. Yoon announced, reading from her computer displays. Defense systems are concentrated forward and above. Weapon ports are positioned for conventional space combat. Engine emissions indicate antimatter propulsion with standard safety protocols. Lee nodded as he processed this information. The aliens were using advanced technology, but it followed predictable patterns based on conventional military thinking. They had built their ships to fight other spacefaring civilizations that would engage in traditional battles with similar technology. What they have not prepared for, Lee said quietly, is fighting an enemy that ignores conventional warfare completely. At 14 minutes and 35 seconds, the alien fleet crossed an invisible line in space that triggered the first phase of Earth's response. Hidden manufacturing facilities around the world instantly began producing custom weapons designed specifically to counter Velkari technology. Nanomachine fabricators created billions of microscopic devices programmed to disable alien electronics. Antimatter reactors generated exotic particles that could penetrate any known shield technology. Quantum computers designed virus programs that could infect artificial intelligence systems. Sir, reported Sergeant Bay from his communication station, we are detecting increased chatter from the alien fleet. They appear to be confident about the upcoming attack. Lee listened to the translated alien communications through his earpiece. Admiral Thexra was coordinating with his fleet commanders, assigning targets and discussing the best methods for intimidating human populations into surrender. They still believe we are defenseless, Lee observed. Admiral Thexra is treating this as a police action rather than actual warfare. At 14 minutes and 36 seconds, the alien fleet made another tactical mistake. They activated their most powerful sensor arrays to scan Earth's surface, looking for military installations and government centers to target. What they found instead were the hidden signatures of quantum processing centers, underground weapon facilities, and disguised orbital platforms. But their computers, programmed to recognize conventional military technology, dismissed these readings as civilian infrastructure or natural phenomena. They are scanning us with everything they have, Dr. Yoon reported. But their analysis software is not designed to recognize our type of defensive systems. To them, Earth still looks like a primitive world with basic military capabilities. Lee smiled grimly. Perfect. Let them maintain that illusion for 3 more minutes. At 14 minutes and 37 seconds, Earth's hidden defense network completed its analysis of the alien fleet and began the next phase of preparation. Targeting computers calculated optimal attack patterns for 50,000 individual enemy vessels. Weapon systems adjusted their configurations to counter specific Velkari defensive technologies. Around the world, ordinary-looking buildings revealed their true nature. Office complexes opened hidden panels to expose missile launchers. Shopping centers transformed into weapon platforms. Cell phone towers extended arrays of energy cannons. Even residential neighborhoods concealed underground military installations. All systems report full combat readiness, announced Commander Rowe from his strategic oversight position. Estimated time to alien weapons range, 15 minutes. Then we have 15 minutes to end this war before it really begins, Lee replied. At 14 minutes and 38 seconds, the final phase of preparation began. Quantum computers around the planet linked together into a single processing network more powerful than anything the galaxy had ever seen. This combined artificial intelligence began coordinating the defense of Earth with computational speed that defied alien comprehension. Targeting solutions were calculated and distributed to thousands of weapon systems simultaneously. Custom ammunition designs were transmitted to manufacturing facilities that began producing specialized attacks for each individual enemy ship. Communication protocols were established to coordinate the response across multiple dimensions of space and time. The quantum network is fully synchronized, Dr. Yoon announced. We now have processing power equivalent to an entire civilization's worth of computers working in perfect coordination. Lee watched the countdown timer reach 14 minutes and 38 seconds exactly. This was the moment when humanity would discover whether a century of secret preparation had been enough to save their species. All stations, this is Earth Defense Actual, Lee announced over the global communication network. Execute cascading response protocol. Show them what humanity is capable of when fighting for survival. Around the world, the hidden arsenal of Earth began to reveal itself. In North America, the Rocky Mountains opened like flowers blooming, exposing orbital cannons that had been disguised as natural rock formations. These weapons fired coherent antimatter beams that could cut through any known material at the speed of light. In Europe, the Mediterranean Sea erupted as underwater missile platforms launched thousands of self-guided projectiles. Each missile contained quantum computers that could adapt to enemy defenses and modify their attack patterns in real time. In Asia, entire cities revealed themselves as massive weapons platforms. Buildings that had housed millions of people for decades suddenly exposed hidden weapon arrays, transforming from civilian infrastructure into military installations in seconds. The aliens had expected to face primitive rockets and chemical explosives. Instead, they found themselves under attack from weapons that operated on principles their science had never encountered. Nanomachine swarms, invisible to conventional sensors, spread through space toward the alien fleet. These microscopic weapons could penetrate any armor, disable any electronics, and reproduce themselves using enemy ship materials as raw resources. Gravitational manipulation devices created artificial black holes that pulled alien vessels out of formation and crushed them beyond recognition. Reality distortion generators made space itself unstable around enemy positions, causing ships to simply cease existing. But the most devastating weapon was humanity's coordination. While the aliens were still trying to understand what was happening, to them, Earth's quantum computer network was processing battle data and adapting tactics millions of times per second. First wave impacts in 10 seconds, Dr. Yoon announced, watching her displays track the various attacks heading toward the alien fleet. Admiral Thexra's confident voice disappeared from the communication channels, replaced by panicked alien voices reporting system failures, hull breaches, and complete tactical confusion. They are trying to raise their shields, Sergeant Bay reported. But our weapons are attacking on so many different levels simultaneously that their defensive systems cannot process all the threats. Lee watched the tactical display as red dots, representing alien ships, began disappearing from his screen. The Valkyrie fleet had been designed to fight conventional space battles against enemies using similar technology. They had no defense against humanity's approach of using every possible attack method at the same time. Antimatter beams cut through alien hulls while nanomachine swarms disabled their electronics. Gravitational weapons crushed ships while quantum viruses infected their computers. Reality distortion devices made some vessels simply vanish while others were pulled into artificial dimensions. Enemy fleet strength is down to 30,000 vessels, Dr. Yoon reported. 20,000, 15,000. The alien admiral's voice returned to the communication channels, but now it was filled. Commander Ro Sung-min stood in the center of Earth Defense Command, watching the aftermath of humanity's first interstellar war. The battle had ended 3 hours ago, but the control room was still buzzing with activity as analysts processed data from the most important 6 minutes in human history. Final casualty report, announced Dr. Yoon Ji-hai from her analysis station. Human military losses, 0. Human civilian casualties, 0. Damage to Earth infrastructure, 0. Enemy vessels destroyed, 49,712. Enemy survivors, estimated 300 individuals in escape pods, now leaving our solar system. Ro nodded, though the numbers still seemed impossible to believe. Humanity had faced the largest invasion fleet in recorded galactic history and emerged without losing a single person. The outcome was so one-sided that it bordered on embarrassing for the aliens. What about the aftermath effects? Ro asked. Are our defensive systems fully operational? All quantum computing networks are running normally, reported scientist Bae Yoonji from the technical analysis section. Manufacturing facilities are already recycling alien ship debris and incorporating useful technologies into our existing arsenal. Hidden weapon platforms are retracting to concealed positions. Within 6 hours, Earth will look exactly as it did before the invasion. Ro walked to the main display showing the solar system, where the massive alien fleet had been just hours. Before, there was now only empty space dotted with expanding clouds of metallic debris. Automated collection systems were already gathering the wreckage for analysis and resource recovery. Have we learned anything useful from the alien technology? He asked. Bae consulted her computer displays. Their basic principles are actually quite conventional. Antimatter propulsion, energy shields, plasma weapons. Very advanced by normal standards, but not beyond human understanding. What made them dangerous was the scale of their fleet, not revolutionary technology. And now we have access to all of their technical specifications, added Dr. Yoon. Our quantum computers recorded detailed scans of every alien system during the battle. We can now build similar technology if needed, though our existing weapons proved superior. Ro considered this information. The aliens had spent a century preparing to invade Earth based on outdated intelligence, while humanity had spent the same century secretly developing weapons specifically designed to counter interstellar invasion. The result had been inevitable. What about their surveillance methods? Ro asked. How did they watch us for so long, without realizing what we were actually building? Bae brought up a tactical analysis on the main screen. Their observation probes were very sophisticated for conventional reconnaissance, but they were programmed to look for familiar patterns. Standard military bases, obvious weapons production, typical government activities. They completely missed our hidden networks because they could not imagine that an entire civilization might be secretly militarized. They saw what they expected to see, Dr. Yoon added. Cities full of civilian populations, factories producing consumer goods, governments focused on normal political activities. They never suspected that the same cities contained hidden weapons. The same factories could instantly switch to military production, and the same governments had secret departments preparing for interstellar war. A communication alert chimed from Lieutenant Kim's station. Commander, we are receiving priority messages from military commands around the world. They are requesting guidance on information release protocols. Ro had been expecting this question. The secret of humanity's hidden military capabilities could not be contained much longer. Too many people had witnessed the battle. Too many hidden systems had been revealed, and too many governments now knew the truth about Earth's defenses. "What is the current status of public awareness?" Rowe asked. Kim checked his communication logs. Most civilian populations saw the alien fleet appear and heard Admiral Thexra's surrender demand. They witnessed the 6-minute battle from the surface, though they probably could not understand exactly what was happening. Government leaders are requesting briefings on our actual military capabilities. Social media and news networks are going crazy, added Sergeant Bay from his monitoring station. Everyone wants to know how humanity defeated such a massive alien invasion so quickly. The official story about classified military technology is not going to satisfy public curiosity much longer. Rowe made a decision that he knew would change human civilization forever. Contact the Global Defense Council and inform them that the Prometheus Protocol secrecy restrictions are now lifted. The public has a right to know what was built to protect them. Over the following hours, the truth about humanity's secret century of preparation began to emerge. News broadcasts revealed the existence of hidden weapons systems, automated manufacturing networks, and quantum computer arrays that had defended Earth from alien invasion. The revelation was overwhelming for most people. Citizens discovered that their neighborhoods contained underground military facilities. Workers learned that their factories had secret production capabilities. Students found out that their schools were built over command centers. "Look at this," Dr. Yoon said, showing Rowe a collection of public reactions from around the world. Most people are amazed rather than angry. They understand that the secrecy was necessary to protect Earth, and they are proud that humanity was prepared for this threat. Rowe reviewed the reports from different countries. The response was remarkably consistent. Initial shock followed, by appreciation for the foresight and planning that had saved their civilization. There were some complaints about government secrecy, but these were overwhelmed by relief that Earth had survived. "What about the international political implications?" Rowe asked. "Are governments concerned about which nations control these weapons?" "That is the most interesting development," Scientist Bay replied. "The Prometheus Protocol was designed as a truly international effort. No single country controls the defensive network. The weapons, computers, and manufacturing systems are distributed globally and require international cooperation to operate effectively. In fact," Dr. Yoon added, "the battle demonstrated that humanity's greatest strength is coordination rather than individual weapons technology. We won because every defense system on the planet worked together perfectly, not because any single nation had superior capabilities." A new communication alert drew their attention to an incoming message from deep space. Lieutenant Kim activated the signal and looked puzzled at the results. "Commander, we are receiving a transmission from the surviving alien escape pods. They are requesting permission to send a message to Earth before leaving our solar system." Rowe considered this request. The aliens had been thoroughly defeated, but allowing them to speak might provide useful information about the broader galactic situation. "Put them through, but monitor the signal carefully for any threatening content." The voice of a surviving Valkyrie officer came through the communication system, speaking in heavily accented English. "This is Science Commander Nulak of the former Valkyrie invasion fleet. I am speaking to you from an escape pod as the sole surviving senior officer of our expedition." The alien's voice was filled with a mixture of fear and amazement. "We wish to inform you that our government sent us to conquer what we believed was a primitive world. We spent 100 years studying your civilization and concluded that you posed no military threat to our forces." Rowe exchanged glances with his colleagues. The alien was confirming what they had already suspected about the enemy's faulty intelligence. "We now understand that we were completely wrong about your capabilities. Your weapons operate on principles that our science cannot explain. Your coordination systems think faster than our computers can process. Your manufacturing capabilities exceed anything in our galactic records." The transmission paused, and they could hear other alien voices in the background, discussing something in their own language. "We will return to the Valkyrie Dominion. and report that Earth is defended by the most advanced military technology we have ever encountered. We will recommend that our government avoid any future contact with your species unless invited by you." Another pause. Then the alien commander continued with what sounded like genuine respect in his voice. "We also wish to apologize for underestimating your civilization so completely. We believed we were facing a weak and divided species, but we have learned that humanity is neither weak nor truly divided when facing external threats. Your ability to work together for common defense while maintaining the appearance of normalcy is unprecedented in galactic history." Ro activated his own communication system to respond. "Science Commander Nulak, this is Commander Ro of Earth Defense. We accept your apology and acknowledge that your invasion was based on incomplete information about human capabilities." He paused, considering his next words carefully. "We want you to understand that humanity does not seek conflict with other intelligent species. The weapons you encountered were built specifically to defend Earth from invasion, not to attack other worlds. We hope that future contact between our civilizations can be peaceful and diplomatic." "We understand," the alien replied. "Your restraint in allowing survivors to escape demonstrates that you are not unnaturally aggressive.